Podcasting to the universe. From the top of Mount Wack. Live with no pants. Here's Zach DeWack.
Greetings, red-blooded, verified Earth people, and those with no check mark. It is me, the always dapper podcast babbler, your daddy-o cockblock from the radio, and the monkey on the mic here running that professionally trained tongue of mine. I am Zachary Ernesto Wackalina III. Good morning, beautiful people, and welcome to those of you in boring Oregon, burnout Alabama, and all around the world. This is the often secluded, never diluted, always wacky, never tacky, hot rockin', flame-throwing to whack in the morning show. Live from the low-rent, sleazy, and measly Raymond Jammin' Nut Hut Studios at the DeWack Shack Podcasting Megaplex at Peachtree Industrial, FEMA Region Number 4, somewhere near the Atlanta Metro. I'm live out of Studio B today. In case you weren't aware, today is Monday, April 7th, 2025. We are at show number 109. Let's take a look at that birthday list. MLBer Adrian Beltre is 46. Nico Santos from Superstore, he's 46 as well. Kevin Alejandro from Lucifer and Southland is 49. Former NFL running back Tiki Barber is 50. Philanthropist Mackenzie Scott, ex-wife of Jeff Bezos, is 55. Russell Crowe from The Gladiator and A Beautiful Mind is 61. Jackie Chan turns 71. John Oates of Hall & Oates is 77. And director Francis Ford Coppola from The Godfather films is 86 years young today. Remembering Henry Ford, he passed away on this day in 1947. P.T. Barnum passed in 1891 on this day, and journalist Mike Wallace passed in 2012.
I'm Mike Wallace.
Here's movies released on this day. The first of 3 classic baseball movies were released on this day. The Bad News Bears in 1976. Major League came out in 1989. And The Sandlot released in 1993. In 1995, we had The Bad Boys and A Goofy Movie. The Benchwarmers released in 2006, and Smurfs: The Lost Village released in 2017.
It happened on this day as if you care.
And here we go with this day in history. In 1795, France adopted the meter as the basic measure of length. In 1827, John Walker, an English chemist, sold the first friction match. He had invented it the previous year. In 1860, Will Kellogg was born in Battle Creek, Michigan. Will's physician brother, John, developed cornflakes and other cereals to serve patients at his mental hospital, and Will founded the Kellogg Company to market the cereals. In 1864, to raise money for charity, the first camel race in America was held in Sacramento, California. In 1970, actor John Wayne received an Oscar for Best Actor in his role in True Grit. In 1945, the Japanese battleship Yamato, one of the greatest battleships of its time, is sunk in Japan's first major counteroffensive in the struggle for Okinawa. In 1999, an Israeli couple was hospitalized for fatigue after kissing in Tel Aviv for 30 hours and 45 minutes. The couple set a world record and won a trip around the world. In 2003, U.S. troops captured Baghdad. Saddam Hussein's regime fell 2 days later. In 2006, in Osaka, Japan, a man found an unlocked door in a university building and saw a perfect opportunity to pull off a burglary. Or so he thought. He entered the darkened room and suddenly the light switched on and he found himself face to face with a huge sumo wrestler. As he turned the run, he saw it wasn't just one sumo, but 12. I guess that didn't go too well for him. In 2016, the longest ever captured python found in Malaysia was 26 feet. In 2021, a record-breaking price of $3.25 million was paid for a comic book as Action Comics #1, which introduced Superman for the first time, sold at an auction. And in 2022, Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson was confirmed as the first black woman to become a Supreme Court Justice in a historic 53-47 vote in the U.S. Senate. Let's look at this day in music. In 1962, the Beatles played at the Casbah Coffee Club in Liverpool without George Harrison, who was ill. This was the group's last performance before leaving for their third extended engagement in Hamburg, West Germany. Also in 1962, while at Ealing Jazz Club in Ealing, West London, Mick Jagger and Keith Richards met Brian Jones for the first time. Jones was calling himself Elmo Lewis and was playing guitar with singer Paul Jones, who was performing under his real name of P.P. Bond.
1970.
In 1970, on this week's U.S. Top 5 Singles charts,
Number 5
was Bridge Over Troubled Water by Simon & Garfunkel.
4.
Was Spirit in the Sky by Norman Greenbaum.
Number 3.
Instant Karma by John Lennon. Number 2 was ABC by the Jackson 5. And at number 1 was Let It Be by the Beatles.
Number 1.
In 1978, the Police released Roxanne as their first single from their debut album, Outlandos d'Amour. The song was written from the point of view of a man who falls in love with a prostitute. The title came from the name of a character in the play Cyrano de Bergerac, which Sting saw on an old poster which was hanging in a hotel foyer in Paris, France, where the group had been staying. The song failed to chart, but when re-released in 1979, peaked at number 12 on the UK chart. In 1981, Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band kicked off their first full-scale tour in Hamburg, Germany. This was Springsteen's first tour outside North America, which would take in 10 countries. In 1985, Wham became the first Western pop group to perform live in China when they played at the Workers' Gymnasium in Beijing. In 1988, during a European tour appearing at Wembley Stadium, Alice Cooper accidentally hung himself in a rehearsal when a safety rope snapped. He dangled for several seconds before a roadie saved him. Cooper was attached to a harness that was attached to the rafters by a thick piano wire that kept the noose above his neck. In 1990, Motley Crue's Tommy Lee was injured when performing a stunt during a concert, falling 20 feet from a lighting rig. In 1994, U.S. soul singer Percy Sledge pleaded guilty to tax evasion after he failed to report $260,000 in income earned between 1987 and 1989. He was sentenced to serve 6 months in a halfway house. Also, in 1994, Courtney Love was arrested on drugs and theft charges after a reported overdose. At the time, Love was unaware that her husband, Kurt Cobain, was dead at their home. His body wasn't discovered until April 8th by an electrician who had arrived to install a security system at their house. In 1998, George Michael was arrested at the Will Rogers Memorial Park for committing a sex act in a public toilet. He was arrested by undercover Beverly Hills police officer Marcelo Rodriguez. Michael later said, "I was followed into the restroom and this cop, well, I didn't know he was a cop at the time, obviously started playing this game. I think it's called, I'll show you mine, you show me yours, and then when you show me yours, I'm gonna nick you." The singer was fined $810 after being convicted of a lewd act. In 2001, Paul McCartney bought the 4-bedroom Beverly Hills home of Courtney Love for $4 million. The gated 1930s house had its own swimming pool and 1.5 acres of land. In 2003, Avril Lavigne dominated Canada's National Music Awards, the Junos, winning 4 prizes including Best Single, Album, and New Artist. Shania Twain, who hosted the show, won 3 awards, and Best Group went to Sum 41. In 2015, the original manuscript of Don McLean's American Pie sold for $1.2 million at a New York auction. The 16-page draft had been expected to fetch as much as $1.5 million at the Christie's sale. McLean said writing the song was a mystical trip into his past. The repeated mentioned phrase, "the day the music died," refers to the plane crash in 1959, which killed rock and roller performers Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper, and Ritchie Valens. And in 2016, Bruce Springsteen canceled a concert in North Carolina, joining business groups in condemning a state law that rolled back protection for gay and transgender people. In a statement, Springsteen said, "Some things are more important than a rock show, and this fight against prejudice and bigotry which is happening as I write is one of them." All right, special events for today. It is International Beaver Day. It's International Day of Reflection on the 1994 Rwanda genocide. It's the Metric System Day. It's Coffee Cake Day. It's Pet Health Insurance Day. Put down that vacuum and put away those wipes. Leave the dishes for another day. Put down the laundry, toss out the to-do list, and take a break. It is National No Housework Day. You're welcome. If your name is Nico, it's your day. It's National Nico Day. It's also Public Television Day. It's World Health Day, National Girl Me Too Day, World Health Organization Day. It's National Beer Day, International Beer Day is in August, and it's Community Garden Week. Today's number for the day is 2. That's the grams of dirt and grime accumulated in your keyboard every month.
Monday morning, you sure look fine.
Breaking news.
A study found that cats about to be spayed relax more if you play classical music, as opposed to another one bites the dust. A gang of thieves tunneled into a bank in France to steal lots of money. This is so old school. Why don't they just become president of the bank and then they can steal without getting their hands dirty?
I am underpaid, underloved, and overworked.
Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport was the busiest in the nation last year. I'm sure there's a lost luggage joke in here somewhere, but I recently flew out of Atlanta since I live here, and they lost the suitcase with all my jokes in it.
I meant to do that.
A new survey of more than 1,200 scientists found that 75% are considering leaving the U.S. to do their work in other countries. They've confirmed America's intelligence is indeed artificial.
Glad to hear it.
The latest research reveals that the happiest people take a 30-minute nap. And they say that the best time to take a nap is when someone in your office is going around to everybody to get donations for somebody's birthday present.
Give me what I want.
A survey found that more people than expected experienced notable skin reactions from their tattoos.
What? No way.
That's strange. You would think that piercing your flesh with an electric needle and permanently staining yourself with a foreign liquid wouldn't be problematic.
Yes, sirree, Bob.
When Daryl Owens spotted a friend waiting for a bus in Berkeley, California, he was irate. The friend was waiting by lounging on the sidewalk because there was no place to sit other than the ground. He posted about it on Twitter and it went viral. Software engineer Mingwei Samuel saw the post and installed a homemade ADA-compliant bench himself. Owens knew a good idea when he saw it, so he started the SFBA, the San Francisco Bay Area Bench Collective, a nonprofit, to do more. That was in late 2023, and it has already installed 77 benches, which cost around $70 to make. Big news here from the Philadelphia Zoo. After over 150 years, they've welcomed 4 adorable hatchlings of the critically endangered western Santa Cruz Galapagos tortoise. Born to the zoo's oldest resident, 100-year-old mommy, the little ones are a hopeful sign for conservation efforts. The first hatchling made its debut on February 27th, with more eggs still under observation, and they're set to greet the public on April 23rd, just in time for Mom's 93rd anniversary at the zoo. Amazon is about to launch the first 27 satellites of its Project Kuiper space internet service next week, aiming to give SpaceX's Starlink a run for its money.
Wow, that's really cool.
The big day is scheduled for Wednesday, April 9th, when the satellites will shoot into low Earth orbit on an Atlas V rocket. Once fully operational, Amazon plans to cover virtually any location on the planet with high-speed internet that can reach up to 1 gigabyte per second. A recent study out of Brazil found that resistance training can help older adults with mild cognitive impairment maintain their memory and brain volume. Study participants engaged in weightlifting twice a week for 24 weeks, which preserved critical areas of the brain. In contrast, the control group that did not exercise experienced significant brain shrinkage. The study also revealed that resistance training improved white matter integrity, essential for communication between brain regions. On February 11th, a British man known only as Patient 268 became the latest individual to embark on a potential journey to a second life through cryogenic storage. Following his passing, the Cryonics UK group took charge of the preservation process, utilizing dry ice cooling before his 3,700-mile trip to the Cryonics Institute in Michigan. Upon arrival at the CI on February 27th, the man's body underwent an extensive cooling process over 25 hours, eventually reaching liquid nitrogen temperatures for indefinite storage. Established in 1976, Cryonics Institute has 2 Michigan facilities housing over 250 patients, including long-standing participant Rhea Integer, who has remained in cryonic suspension since 1977. If you're trying to lose weight, the one thing that is most likely to derail your best diet plan is your family and close friends. Don't believe it? Test it. Go on a diet, lose a few pounds, brag a little, and then see what happens. Chances are you'll find that you are the recipient of fattening food gifts. Your spouse may buy you a candy bar at the movies, or your coworker will offer you cookies when the afternoon munchies hit. They aren't doing this to be mean or vindictive. They probably aren't even conscious of it. But what they are doing is sabotaging your weight loss success. Colleen Pierre, a registered dietitian and associate professor at Johns Hopkins University, says that the problem can be defined in one word: change. A diet creates big changes in anyone's life. These are changes welcomed by the dieter, but friends and family aren't in on the same mode of change. Be aware that the diet sabotage is not done purposefully or maliciously, it's unconscious. St. Louis Museum has made headlines by gathering 309 individuals wearing banana hats to break a Guinness World Record for the most people sporting the fruity headpieces. Bananas! The City Museum achieved the feat with the help of various supporters and an official Guinness judge present to verify the accomplishment.
Absolutely bananas.
Gastrointestinal mayhem struck the luxury ship Queen Mary II, on which 224 passengers and 17 crew members are battling norovirus. The Centers for Disease Control reports that the ship is en route from Southampton, England, to New York and on to the Caribbean. In response to the outbreak, the ship and crew increased cleaning and disinfection procedures, collected stool specimens for testing, and isolated people who had fallen ill. Norovirus is a very contagious virus that causes vomiting and diarrhea and is commonly referred to as the stomach flu or the stomach bug.
We gotta wrap this program to bring you something really, really, really stupid.
All right, let's check in on stupid news. In a wild twist on pet theft, a man in Oregon was caught on camera stealing a python by stuffing it down his pants.
What?
This took place at A to Z Pets in Portland, where surveillance video from a camera almost directly above the snake pen showed the guy lifting a $200 black pastel ball python out of his tank. Police have the video and are searching for both the suspect and the snake.
Well, look what the cat dragged in.
It was 5 years ago this week, as the pandemic was really just beginning, that we heard the news of a newborn boy and girl in India were named COVID and Corona. The parents, Preeti and Vinay Verna, said that they hoped that the twins' names would serve as a reminder of the hardships they overcame as they were brought into this world during the pandemic. Authorities in Germany said that 3 accused drug dealers were arrested after they texted the wrong person. The dealers thought they were texting a group of customers, and they were. But one of those who was texted was a detective who set up a buy and busted the men. No! In the Philippines, an embarrassed police chief had to explain how 1,000 pounds of combined stash of marijuana, cocaine, and amphetamines could disappear from the evidence room. The enterprising chief, when confronted with the missing booty, told investigators rats and cockroaches got in through gaps in the locker doors and ate it all, every last scrap. A woman in the UK has been sentenced to prison for faking pregnancies with twins to receive gifts and money. Libby Vernon convinced her ex-partner and friends that she was carrying twins, even throwing a baby shower for the non-existent babies. She created a web of lies using fake ultrasound images and baby bump props to maintain the deception. The scheme unraveled when suspicion arose, leading to police involvement and Vernon's ultimate arrest. In England, Mark Kirby spent 4.5 years in prison for conning an elderly couple out of almost $4,000 by promising to plan their funerals and pocketing the money while delivering no plans. After being released from prison, he said, "I admit I had a bad track record, but people do change." But apparently he didn't, because he's again been convicted of fraud for duping a grieving family. Kirby took almost $3,400 to arrange a service for a woman's husband, telling her he could book a funeral home, even though he was banned from organizing funerals in the area. Because he couldn't make good on that facility, he invited the family to his funeral home. He sent a limousine, which was decorated for a child's birthday party, and directed mourners to a 15 by 15 foot room. Several family members had to wait outside, and the ones who went inside saw a 20-minute service that had nothing to do with the deceased. He has been found guilty of fraud and is awaiting sentencing.
Whether you're rich or parking cars, your fate is written in the stars. You don't want to look like a dope, so please listen close for your horoscope.
All right, let's take a look at your weekly Horriblescopes. If today is your birthday, you are an Aries. Other people are not as crazy as you make them out to be. Buying a t-shirt proclaiming your bald patch is a solar panel for a sex machine is a good idea. Pretending to pick off fleas off a new member of staff may seem appealing, but the gag may be on you if you actually find some.
Don't be so quick to sell out your brother, kid. He's all you got.
Taurus, your daily rituals are what keep you going. Avoid the temptation to change your ways lest you become half the person you are today. Check your email daily because you never know what may arrive. Don't shun your naked body. Express yourself in lots of new, happy, naked ways. All the time you spent on learning French is never going to pay off.
Oh, Zach, you're so understanding. I think I'm gonna cry.
Gemini, Mike is not a name you want to associate with today. Mike may be the devil's spawn. It's hard to tell. All your better ideas have already been stolen and used in the past, which perhaps suggests you should prefix crackpot to the unofficial title you give yourself. You're as transparent as a blast of canned air. Try to be more complex by wearing hats that are clearly too small for your head.
You have no pension, no benefits, and you live in our basement.
Cancer, gambling with your possessions always seems like a good idea at the time. However, you should be aware that much of your meddling will eventually lead to a loss of a leg for someone.
I don't know what we're yelling about!
Leo, the age you should be acting like is written on the soles of your shoes. Your friends will suddenly start really loving you this week as they find out about your recent lottery luck. Walk without shoes for a day and you will soon understand the nature of the soul. Get it? Virgo, express yourself in a non-flamboyant and unexciting way. Buy a nice brooch. Terrible envy can be yours all for the price of walking into a very expensive car showroom. Use that negative energy to summon up dark spirits.
Why would anybody want to put themselves on display like a piece of meat?
Libra, correlating facts is an awesome responsibility. Are you sure you're up for it? Many of your hang-ups would disappear if you started wearing clothes that more suited you.
What's up, Doc?
Scorpio, terrible things will happen to someone you hate this week. You may feel joyous. Just because people laugh at you doesn't make you a comedian. When in danger, you have a tendency to run away quickly. Harness that ability, as you'll need it sometime this week.
What if I told you I found a new truth?
Sagittarius, cysts are a sign of overworking as much as anything else. Relax this week. Your desire for more money will never come true unless you get off your ass and do something. You are not the person you once were. Try to reflect those changes in your general appearance, and please smile for a change.
You know what I mean?
Capricorn, you are overworked and underpaid. The Nigerian bank that is contacting you today about your car's warranty does not exist. If you're gonna fall for it, please send $3,000 in care of this show.
This sounds bad.
Aquarius, helpfulness can be a virtue, but naivety can bring you trouble. The sun doesn't wear a hat, and it's probably not a good idea to play with it. Wake up in the trash can again? Don't let your drinking get you down. Go have a beer.
And there ain't nothing to it but to do it.
And finally, Pisces. We can't promise that you won't die within the next 2 days. If you're terrified by the thought of someone being able to look into your mind, are you sure you should be here? Because that's what I'm doing right now. Remember, the right moment can grab you at any time.
Second star to the right, and straight on till morning.
And those are your official DeWack in the Morning Horriblescopes. And remember,
don't leave home without them.
And now this.
On this day in 1776, General George Washington began marching his unpaid soldiers from Cambridge, Massachusetts to New York in anticipation of a British invasion. Yeah, he was disappointed when both the Beatles and the Rolling Stones failed to show up.
Take a chill pill.
Variety reports that the release of the upcoming Michael Jackson biopic may be delayed.
Oh, fuck.
The film Michael may be split into 2 movies. So let's see, the first one is in color and the second in black and white.
You gotta get up early in the morning to outsmart this rabbit.
Vincent van Gogh was born this week back in 1853. He's famous for cutting off his ear because of a woman. How stupid. Why didn't he just go into the other room and turn on Sports Center like the rest of us?
Why are you so sweaty and filthy?
A report says that the U.S. faces a severe shortage of doctors. In fact, things are so bad yesterday, a triple bypass was performed by Dr. Phil.
April Fool, son!
An article states that millennials have terrible conversational skills. When asked for comment, millennials texted a series of emojis.
Roll Tide!
Singer MC Hammer turned 63 over the weekend. Not saying he's old, but these days, you can't touch this refers to his toes.
Oh, right, yeah. That makes perfect sense.
2 guys in Arkansas were arrested for shooting each other repeatedly while wearing bulletproof vests while drinking. Yeah, they really should televise these runoff elections in Arkansas.
Oh, I'm sorry, boo. I ain't mean no disrespect.
Democrats warn Trump tariffs will result in a recession like the 70s.
Party on, dudes!
Disco-free speech, casual sex, and cocaine. Jimmy Carter wasn't so much the president as he was the lookout.
Questions.
Now, to increase ticket sales, Disney is adding a scene where Snow White and the 7 dwarfs set fire to a Tesla.
Nice thought of that.
Baseball is America's favorite pastime. Apparently, only second to burning Teslas.
I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Zip up, you fly.
Well, you've been listening to the Always First, Never Last podcast with me, your doomsday host, the incredible edible Mr. Zach Wackalina. Why don't you connect with me at ZachDeWack.com? That's ZACKDAWACK.com. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, MySpace, The Comic Strip, The Yellow Pages, Telepathy, Western Union, or call or text 984-DeWack1. That's 984-329-2251. Like the show, follow us, or subscribe, and please share this show with your friends, even your enemies. I don't care. Just share it. Thank you to all the awesome wackos, weirdos, reverts, preverts, dingbats, and jelloheads anonymous for any and all listens you can give. I'll tell you what, it means a lot. Thank you so much. I'm out of here like Vladimir until next time, and there will be a next time. Don't forget me. I won't forget you. I am Zach DeWack. If I'm lying, I'm dying. Grits ain't groceries. Eggs ain't poultry. And Mona Lisa was a man. I'll be back Friday for another bodacious edition of the DeWack in the Morning Show. I'll talk to you then. Find me here, same whack time, same whack channel. Whack out.
Bye, buckaroos!
We have reached the end of this program. Please return your host to the full upright position.
Monday sucks. Monday sucks. It's Monday. It's Monday. ZachDeWack.com.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.